how we will have conversations with the team. I welcome you all in our today's online session. Hope you all are fine and having good time. We start today's session with words. Hopefully my screen with you guys and voice as well clear. So up till now, if anyone have any kind of question, query or difficulty regarding previous sessions, we may ask regarding previous session and discuss the query. And hopefully there is no kind of query and all the things have been clear in your mind. So we further continue today's session with the lecture of topic conflict management. So we all know there's a conflict many times always create in management of team and the group of people which are working together each other. And all we need to avoid these kind of conflict with each other. So conflict is a part of life even also it's a necessary thing which many times produce in mostly as well in our house and as well most of the areas, offices, industry, institution, companies, multinational group of teams, conflict always produce. So that's the reason the group of people would be make in another side and some of group of people would be from another side. So there is a opposition and the substitute things would be happen between the people and most of the office environment have been affected by these conflict management and office politics also too much viable in these kind of things. So it's our responsibility to avoid conflict and avoid the office politics as much as possible. Sometimes that kind of politics should be good in some of the environments, in some of the situations, but politics, especially office politics, is not a viable thing in most of the society, in most of the areas. So always remember, avoid as much as possible conflict or office politics as you can. Because office politics and conflict sometimes it's good, but it's not every time would be good. Because it create a negative impact in the society, offices, industry, institution, and multinational offices, teamwork as well. So most of the people have been affected by this kind of things. Sorry for the interruption. I was talking about the conflict which is create the negative impact in the society and as well as in the office environment, team management as well. So avoid conflict and the negative politics which is created in the office. So the conflict would be less and the environment of house, hold, aspect related things and other aspect related to the office environment and most of the things have been further have been clear. So in most of the time without conflict and without office politics, things of office and other kind of things would not be done in normal way. So in every kind of place you feel and observe that there is a conflict and office politics in most of the department as well. So we further continue the session office conflict management, that how is it and why it is much important. Conflict management is the practice of being able to identify and handle conflicts sensibly, fairly, and efficiently as well. Since conflicts in the business are a natural part of the workplace, it is important that there are people who understand conflicts and know how to resolve them. So we all know the conflict many times produce in our teamwork, but it's our responsibility to how to resolve their conflict and how to handle the particular conflict by the respective of management skill, managerial skill. The managerial skills we already discussed in our previous lectures. So I'm requesting you guys to understand and see the management skills which I already covered in our my previous session in engineering economics and management lectures of playlist. Furthermore, it is important that there are people who understand conflicts. So it's very much pretty important things that we need to understand what kind of conflict and the level of conflict which is created and produced in the group of people as well. So without understanding the level of conflict, that how much severe it is to deal with people and deal with managerial activities, it is not a good thing. So first we need to understand what kind of conflict level that is being produced right now. And further, after understanding the conflict, then we need to resolve it, the conflict which is produced between the people. So these are the signs which reflect that don't be hot and blow up. So because these things of situation would be aspectly produced in many kind of societies, in many kind of offices, people are felt their temperament and they reach on the level of their thought which create the severe level of conflict at a particular time. So it is our responsibility, don't be cool and give up. So don't be cold and give up. So don't be give up and don't be cold. Further, be cool and in control. So you can handle the conflict directly. So every time the kind of thoughts and the kind of situations, it create a conflict. So people will face the failure in a particular instant. So that how to deal a conflict? First, if there is a there is a need or possibility that conflict would be produced in between the people, then what will be done? What will we need to do at a particular instant of time? So we need to do in a particular instant of time that we avoid those statements which increase the conflict as much as possible. So we need to avoid them. And then if another side produce the conflict kind of statements. So we need to avoid those statements and manipulate the kind of these statements to change the kind of these statement situation. Then there is a kind of possibility, mostly 80% the chance that conflict would be reduced in a particular situation. So it's depend on our side that how we deal the particular instant, how to handle that particular instant of conflict our by our managerial skills. So then we resolve the kind of management that we find, then we are able to handle the particular conflict before its creation. And I also provide a solution that if already create a conflict in between two parties, then how can we handle? I already discussed with you guys in it. So before conflict, before any kind of the situation, you always remember, be ready to avoid the kind of these conflict by be cool and in control the things. Then there is nothing kind of situation would be created in between you and other people to create a conflict between them. Further, what are the causes of conflict? Conflict are come from a variety of sources. Unclear line of responsibilities. This is one of the best things which create the conflict. Disagreement over who should be doing what. Because there is unclear thing would be create many conflict as well. Because most of the people write their statement and said their statement that I cannot do the kind of thing because there is not clearly mentioned that I can do the kind of task. Or no one get their responsibility to do the particular task if it's not mentioned in written form. So and other people cannot take the responsibility. So what will happen? The conflict would be created. This one is the best way of understanding the situation that how conflict is created. So there is nothing to produce the kind of statements to get the responsibility. Then otherwise no one can get the responsibility. Then what would be happen to the solution of this statement? Solution of this statement is that, or the statement of this line is solution. Particularly, we talk about this that you get responsibility, you take the responsibility and resolve that particular issue by own that particular responsibility. Otherwise, the creation of conflict would be out there. So we can fulfill the conflict management by the managerial skills. Another aspect, and number two, is personality conflicts. And what are personality conflicts? Are a common cause of conflict. Sometimes there is no chemistry, or you haven't figured out an effective way to click with somebody. Scarce resources, that conflict can happen when you are completing over scarce resources. Now, what is the styles? People have different styles of talking, communicating, dealing with people, public dealing. Most of the people are have less amount of dealing with people, communicating with people, because most of the people are not able to understand these kind of charismas. Most of the people have no kind of these abilities, but they are impose, they are hijack the kind of position in the society and in a particular position that they are not deal particularly with people. It's an example that if you visit a hospital, most of the people are out there and dealing with people without a smile because they are not understand the basic things of dealing public at a particular their positions. They are frustrating people, they are dealing with people in their duty hours. But the thing is that it is our responsibility to deal with people with a smile, to provide the importance to your client. Otherwise, they are further avoid to visit your office. And I think most of you can understand the things. Further, to continue this part 4, your thinking style or communicating style might conflict with somebody. So it's your responsibility to communicate with people in good style and avoid those statements or style of communication which create the conflict in the people. Recently, I visited a department. Uh, Particularly, I'm not mentioning the name, but some of the person who is on a good position, he is dealing with me, but he is not smiling. He is kind of frustrating people which are in the good seat on position as well. I'm talking to him in Urdu, but he is replying me in English. It's a good thing we know English, so we need to reflect it in another kind of aspect and dealing with people in a straightforward way. It's a thing of style and communicating with people, but in long term, it cannot sustain. So, in most of the place, we need to understand that to deal with people in well manner, it benefit you in long term as well. Contract with somebody else thinking style or their communication style as well. So these are some important aspects which we need to understand that it's a need of society and it's a need of managerial activity and skills as well. If you're dealing with people without these skills, then you will be in trouble in long term as well. No one believe you, no one get to touch in with you, and no one is uh, something communicate with you in well manner as well, because time is not same for everyone. It's your time, but your time would not be in long run. So remember this thing, communicate with people in well manner, in a smiling way. Otherwise, if you need this communicative way and in bad manners to the people, communicate in the bad manner with people, then the outcome of this result you will feel one day. Remember this thing. Now moving towards the number four, the causes of conflict. Number five is values. Conflict can happen when you are unaware of others' culture or religious values. So always respect people regarding their cultural aspect and as well as the religious values. It's a hot topic and people are not discussing about the concept because some of the people are not very well aware of it. Religious is a sensitive topic. We are not we have not right to discuss people's religious and religious aspect in the group of people. It's my opinion that religion is a personal aspect of any person. And if you have issues with a person with religious aspect, you need to discuss him directly, personally, not in public, not in group of people. And as well as the culture is also a sensitive topic. Most of the people follow their different kind of cultures, so we need to provide them a value for it, and everyone's culture is superior level for him or her, so remember this thing. Number six, lack of communication. Not communicating properly may result in conflict as well. So lackness of communication always create issues in the people in the form of conflict in between the two parties. So understand this thing that communication is an art to deal with people. If you have not able to deal with people by this art, you need to learn this thing. Otherwise, it will affect you in long run as well, in long term or long run as well. So remember this thing that it's your turn, but not remember another turn would be happen by the changing of time. Number seven is diverse workforce. Maybe the reason for conflict because of lower cohesiveness, communication problems, and sometimes stereotyping as well. So these are diverse workflows as well. Diversity, there are many group of people which are coming towards on you. Being a teacher, you can say in many of the people are coming to you in different kind of religious aspect, in different kind of cultural aspect. You need to treat them in well manner. It's simple thing. You need to discuss their religious aspect. You don't need to discuss their respective culture as well, because it will create the issues in the form of conflict as well. Everyone has their dignity, everyone has their respect as well. So you need to respect them. So dealing with conflict, we'll discuss in next lecture. So uh, I think we need to discuss it. Dealing with conflict in this axis of X, the cooperativeness will happen, and in this side of Y is assertiveness is happen. So first we start the middle of the picture, particularly the compromising. Compromising is a situation the that minimize the effect of conflict in the society. Okay, sorry for the interruption. We further continue that compromising is also a situation that we need to uh, understand that compromise with things, compromise with people to be a best way to minimize a conflict. Collaborating, collaborating with people, joyfulness, and with the kind of situation will also minimize the conflictness. So collaboration is related to the assertive nature, and the bottom side is the unassertive nature. So in uncooperative and further cooperative with the accessing of onward this side. Competing. So competing is assertive statement, and in this region, the uncooperative things would be happening. So competing create the competition between the people, and it will also create things and issues between the people, by which the cause of conflict would be there out there. So competing should be avoided between the people. We need to compare with people in ethics. We need to compare with people in good way of communication, etc. kind of things. Furthermore, avoiding. If we need to avoid conflict, that would be the best thing, and further accommodating things. In accommodating things to that someone is in danger, someone is in kind of problem-based situation, emergency situation. So he is not in the able, he is not able, or he is not also able to do particular task in a particular deadline. So we need to understand that we need to accommodate his task by someone else to do particularly, and provide him a relaxed way to focus on in his or her emergency situations. So this is all about that how to deal with conflict in different kind of situations, in which the cooperativeness, uncooperativeness, and assertive and unassertiveness things would be happening. So this is the way that how to deal with people in this way. So it's all about today's session. Up till now, anyone of you, if have any kind of question, query or difficulty, please feel free to discuss. I will answer the kind of question and resolve your queries if you have in your mind. So we end today's session. Allah Hafiz.